Hello, it's Nancy Wilkins here with Scrappy Cats, and I thought I got behind in showing some of the videos of things I've done with LorrieMarie Jenkins tutorials, so I thought today we would get going. This first thing I wanted to show is these dolls or peoples that fold. They're meant to go in a altered book, and you fold them out. But I like the idea of just standing them up, and putting them on my shelf so I can look at them open all the time. Each one of them has a different face, different expression. And then I just used a mat for the backing. They're made out of, I think I used a Cheerios box for the cardboard or the cardstock. I had a good time making them, trying to make each one a little different. But so those I made like early fall when LorrieMarie first showed us how to do that. And that's the first thing. And then before she left to go to Australia, she showed us how to make these inspiration cards. And there's quite a few of them. First we had to make the box, and that was fun. And so to make these fit in the box, instead of worrying about making a bigger box like everybody else was trying to do, when I made my cards, I made them so they weren't so thick, and then, this is going to say I'm cheating, I ironed them. And then after I ironed them, I went ahead and put each one has a key on them. And then pictures and each inspiration, like this one says, "Who can I thank today?" This was, am I hearing my inner voice and listening to my intention today? They're kind of like you to think about, you're supposed to think this. Who can I learn from today? Well, of course, today I can learn from LorrieMarie Jenkins. I can't tell you exactly how I made these, though I do know once I put everything together, I put it through the Cut-A-Bug with the embossing folder, then I inked them with StazOn. But there's plenty of them here. I like the idea of, to me, it's like the key to my inner self, or a key to self-improvement. And it brings you out of your shell, makes you think about something other than your own woes and your own troubles. And half the time that helping someone else will help yourself. There's my inspiration cards. And then around Christmas time in December, we had a junk journal we were supposed to make. Well, I've combined a few things that she had us do, that she showed us how to do. She showed us how to do this cover. But let's talk about the junk journal first. I really had to get this video before I've already started putting stuff in it and using it. But here we have 3 signatures like we were taught to do, and I stitched them in. And it's my intention that maybe these, I don't care for that blank spot in between there, but you kind of need it. Like I can put some strips of fabric to tie in between there. I got some, well, here's, thought I had 2. Oh, here it is. I can put a piece of strip of fabric, and you won't be able to see it, and yet that fabric will add to it, but it won't detract from your book to have a strip of fabric, because I like having foo-foo hanging out of my book, like I already did. And I've stitched things together at the sewing machine. Some of them I made pockets. Well, see, I put the fabric in. It didn't get quite straight. This is a magazine picture, and I made a pocket stitching. And don't mind her, it's just my kitty cat trying to get into the picture. She thinks she needs some attention. Made pockets, and I've already started stuffing them. I've already started writing in them. Started making use of them, and I thought I better, before I got too much farther down the road, I better I like those. Take the video of, you can see the bare bones, which she showed us how to do in the door. And then LorrieMarie showed us how to make this. These are where we took brown paper, pieces of brown paper sack, glued them together with Mod Podge, plenty of Mod Podge. While they're still damp, we put them through the embossing so that these raised portions are filled with Mod Podge, and they will not be, you know, they will hold up to the wear and tear of being in a book. Well, we're supposed to have made, she made a composition book cover for with what she was showing us. And I thought that would be a neat cover in back. And then what I did was I put the eyelets in here and laced up. Because I didn't want to cover my spine. For some reason, I felt I had to have my strings showing from sewing those signatures in. So this is what I did. I might go back and ink this a little bit so that they all kind of go together. But I really like the idea of lacing your spine up like that. There's no stress on it because I didn't want to pull this from the corner, from the edge. So there's my spine, that my junk journal that's so far. I haven't put a clasp on it, so right now I'm still just taking my fabric strip. I kind of just stashed my fabric about a month ago, and I took a bunch of them and made strips. That's where all my strips are coming from. All right, so then this last thing I made from LorrieMarie Jenkins videos is the scrap book. And underneath this is a playing card. And you took and put text blocks on your pieces of a textbook on it. And then I was supposed to, and you put them down and you work with 6 at a time and make like a sheet, 6 cards, and by the time you put it all together, they're combined. And then you're supposed to stamp them. Well, I forgot and tore them apart before, so I, after I put the gesso, I just put gesso on it solid instead of using a stencil like she suggested. And so I went back and used a stencil. Let's see, you can see I used a stencil and gray acrylic paint to give them uniformity. And yet, there's nothing uniform about this. Use a Copic binding and just flip through. I like the cowboy. And I belong to a swap group, and every once in a while we swap with lots of people. And I get all this stuff in that I need to find uses for that. And so instead of using my focal points, I went through that and found this is a piece of acetate off a package. Just a package that, this is out of a magazine that was a focal point. And then this was, I believe this came from, LorrieMarie gave this to us. And this has a window. This was a business card. Can you imagine having a business card that beautiful? I just loved it so much I had to put it in so I could save it. And listen to that crinkle. I love that crinkle. And another picture and things that were sent to me that I wanted to save. But I finally got something with a flower, a feather in it, the feathers. And the legs. So I took my Stabilo to them and inked, put a little border on them, but I didn't do too much. In the past, when I do so much, when I get through handling it, my hands are just black. And I know I can go back and spray and seal that down so that it won't get my hands black. But to me, that's just adding chemicals to it. And another layer, and it doesn't feel not so nice once you do that. So I wanted to be able to just leave it like it is without spraying. And that came from a fairy book I was making. I had a leftover graphic. So that's where I'm at right now with LorrieMarie and her projects. My next one I want to do is I'll figure out what I'm going to do next. Right now I'm making a handmade book. But so there's the last thing. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much, LorrieMarie, for sharing your talent and your skills with us and giving us ideas and creativity. I try not to be identical to what you do or what she does, so that I can say I did this. I didn't just copy. Thank you. Thank you for watching.